So I started with content marketing like 10, 12 years ago for kind of just as a side thing. And then within the last 2 years, I've moved into it full time. So I started out as a freelance writer. Now I'm content strategist, fractional content strategist, and CMO of Scheme. So doing all the things over here. It used to be just like, here's your keywords, have at it, stuff as many as possible in there. And then now it's huge change with like AI search coming up.
Want to attract and convert more leads? Want to learn how digital PR, branding, and SEO can establish and build your brand identity? Welcome to the Market Movers Building Brands and Links with Linkify podcast. We answer these questions and help you ramp up your brand visibility and credibility. Let's cut through the noise and make your business the talk of the town. We're your hosts, Nick and Chris. Let's get this show on the road.
Welcome to the Market Movers podcast with me, Chris Pantelli, and my guest, Cassie Wilson-Clark, the fractional content strategist and CMO, CGO, who builds lean content systems that drive real pipeline. She's delivered standout results with high impact, long form work, strong conversion numbers, and fast organic growth across both search and AI. Welcome to the show, Cassie.
Well, thanks, Chris. What an intro. Thanks. Glad to be here today.
Oh, it's great to have you. Why don't you start by telling everybody how you got into marketing and what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I started with content marketing, gosh, I don't know, like 10, 12 years ago, forever ago, kind of just as a side thing. And then within the last 2 years, I've moved into it full time. So I started out as a freelance writer. Now I'm content strategist, fractional content strategist, and CMO of Scheme. So doing all the things over here.
And have you seen a big shift then? So from 12 years ago, which is donkey's years in this business, like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, back when the dinosaurs were roaming. Yeah. Oh, yeah, big. So it used to be just like, here's your keywords, have at it, stuff as many as possible in there. And then now it's huge change with like AI search coming up. It's here's your long tail keywords, make this as clean as possible. Don't get too narrative like in your content as much as, clean, simple, hit the answer, go on.
Well, actually, before we dive into strategy and everything that you've seen,
Yeah.
I was at the Chiang Mai SEO conference last week, and sort of the whole narrative there was AI and AI search. So as a fractional CMO, you get to see behind the curtain in a number of different operations. Is that like a driving narrative then? Is it a concern? Is that all they're talking about? Is that what they're asking you about? Like, how's that playing out?
Yeah. So most of my clients back in February, March, a lot of them just kind of put pause on everything because AI search was becoming a thing. AI generated content was huge. None of it was doing well. And like everybody was like, we don't know what we're doing. So in the last 6 months, everyone's starting to kind of figure out what's working. And yeah, everyone is asking, okay, what are we doing now? That's the biggest question is, SEO is not doing as hot as it did. What are we doing to fix it? Yeah, big question. I'm curious though as to what they were saying at the conference that you went to.
Some people said it's just SEO as it's always been, and then other people saying there are nuances. Obviously, there are nuances. So yeah, I think the sort of driving force was we've got to optimize for everything, be everywhere. That's going to be have the most significant impact.
Yeah, I saw someone on LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago trying to rebrand SEO to search everywhere optimization, and I'm like, yes, that's smart, but I don't think we can change it for for the algorithms. I don't think we can just change it like that.
Okay, so how impactful do you think the chatbots are, especially for sales and businesses where they want to be? Like, do you think the ChatGPTs, Perplexities, Claudes, are people actively searching in there? How much of an impact do you think that it's having or going to have?
Yeah. So the thing I've been telling everyone that's been asking me this, it's like AI search with those chatbots is still pretty new. So right now I've seen a couple brands say, yeah, we've got more of our traffic from the AI chat than we have from like Google or wherever else. But for most brands, SEO is still kind of the thing for now. That said, search behavior is changing. So I think jumping in on this now while it's still new and trying to figure out where we're going is the smart play here. Because you also have to think about your audience too. Like some boomers, my mom, she's never going to use ChatGPT. She's always going to go to Google. So you can't just completely throw out SEO. But you do need to change a couple things that we're doing here.
Yeah, that was a good point that someone made at the conference I was at, that if you speak to like your grandparents or even younger, a lot of them haven't even heard of ChatGPT. And we live in this like bubble as marketers where we think like everybody is using like every model and platform. But yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think though that it could become, actually, before I go into that, you said that obviously you work across multiple brands. Do you think that there's been some protection for them, because brands have historically done well in Google as they're, well, especially good brands, well optimized brands, because they've got trust signals, good authority, and we're seeing that a lot of the surfaced recommendations inside of LLMs, they rely heavily on brands because it, again, all the same sorts of things. So do you think they've been somewhat insulated and are still getting good SEO traffic?
Yeah, so I think like a good SEO foundation is kind of what's making GEO work. So for the brands that have already been doing that, I think they're going to be fine. That said, I also know that like newer content, fresher content updates is a huge thing for like AI search. I'm curious, like brands that just kind of put it out there and don't touch it again. I'm curious if they're going to go back and be like, oh, we need to update all this now. I'm curious how that's going to work.
But when it comes to updating content with AI search in mind, what does that look like? Like, do you prioritize the content being optimized for Google, or are you making changes? And if you are making changes, what's the strategies there in order to be optimized for AI as well as Google?
Yeah, so I was talking with Josh Spilker at AirOps about this a couple weeks ago on the podcast, and he kind of recommended like a 3 to 6 month update. So I asked him about this, and he told me, he's like, well, it depends on your industry. I'm like, I don't know if that's super helpful. He goes, but it is if you think about it. Like like his example was like diabetes recommendations, they don't usually change, and if they do, they're
I'm a
kind of like
diabetic.
yeah. So I mean, the recommendations are the same for a bit, right? He's like, but industries like technology, SaaS, all of that changes fast. So if your industry changes quicker, you need to update quicker. And as far as like actually doing the updates, like going into the content and doing that, it's like just tweaking a paragraph, making a definition stand out a little bit more, adding in those FAQs if you don't have them yet, changing the date or like when you publish this. So it's like simple little tricks, which I still think is like an SEO thing for like an SEO update, and adding in like those long tail keywords if you can.
It's old school, man, isn't it? And it's working because, I mean, I'm searching inside of LLMs like all the time, but those like old school tricks, like having like that date auto change on the year, or publishing the post now, like changing your 2005 post to 2006 now or last month or whatever. The LLMs love freshness, so they are pulling those, like, whoever beats the update. But that's so old school, isn't it? Just like update the post year in the title.
I know. I know. So it is still a lot of like the SEO tricks, but like I think adding in some of the other things like the schema, like author schema, making sure you have that across everywhere. Some of that's a little different, a little, not much, but a little. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So right, let's dive into AEO, SEO, SGO, whatever the hell we're gonna decide is the acronym for this. Okay, so let's say that you've decided to focus on AI chatbots as opposed to Google. What do you think outside of those like easy tricks? Like, what do you think, or what are you seeing is good content for AI?
Yeah. So I don't want to like tell myself here, but with my own blog for my website, I have mostly just focused on AI search within the last couple of months and not worried so much about SEO. I mean, I worried about it a little, but not like focused so much on like getting those backlinks or doing that kind of thing. Um, so I think if like someone really wanted to start with just AEO in general, do make sure that your SEO setup on your website is fine. Like you are hitting those keywords in like headings and that kind of thing. But as far as like fresh content goes, map it to what people are actually asking inside of those AI engines. So don't think about just a keyword. Think about the entire prompt. So if you can hit the whole prompt, like maybe even just put the question in your content and then just answer it. I've seen that work too.
And how can we find, because it, traditional keyword research is easy. Like we can
Yeah.
find great data on what people are searching in Google, but the LLMs, the possibilities are endless, and the conversations, depending on where people are in the funnel as well, will really, really like dictate how those conversations come about and what they're talking about. Like, do we just have to try and sort of formulate an ICP and then imagine what those conversations are and work backwards? Is that how you should do it?
You could, but I really like looking to Reddit because if someone is on Reddit asking a
Okay.
question, they're most likely going to use that same phrasing into like a ChatGPT or Perplexity or whichever one they're using. So ChatGPT has this feature called the agent mode, and I like to use it
Hmm.
to be like, please go. I always say please to my robots. Go
Yeah.
search
Yes.
Reddit, these communities, and find like the top 10 questions they're asking about whatever subject. Then I ask it deliver it into a table and then give me the context as like the what the whole conversation is. And that kind of helps me plan out what content we're posting and when. And that gives me like the exact phrasing that they're using too. So I might even just say like in the introduction or somewhere near the top, if you're asking or if you're on Reddit and you're looking for this question, here's the question. Well, here's the answer. I make it stupid
Yeah.
simple.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's a good tip. So do you think there's like differences in the nuances of the content though? So in the sort of build up to before the helpful content update, it was just a question of maybe scraping the top 3, 4, 5 results in the SERPs, and then you'd try and like outdo the word length a bit, cover everything that everybody else did, but add something like, does that work with AI, or is it more about specifically answering the questions that we think people are going to be asking around a particular topic?
I think it's more so answering the questions around a particular topic. Um, I know that there are a couple different, and I'm not sure how they're like, to be honest, this is so new with this
Mm,
particular client that they're hitting a bunch of different questions into one blog post. I'm not sure how that's working yet. I'm wondering if maybe separate posts for separate questions is a better way to go here instead of just, okay, here's the topic and here's the entire guide for everything we know about this particular topic.
mm,
I don't know what works yet.
mm.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Mm. Well, I want to know if we're ever going to be able to get our hands on this proprietary data, because that would be the real magic. Everything that's asked inside of ChatGPT, and I can't imagine it would happen. Although at some point, if they're going to show ads, then they're going to have to give some data. Otherwise, people aren't going to bid. They need to know what they're going to bid on, don't they? So it would be
So
interesting
the
to see.
ad Yeah, I was in ChatGPT the other day. Like I'm always bouncing ideas around just to see what's going on. And one of the things is ads ever going to pop up in these AI engines? Evidently, yes, according to what ChatGPT told me, but we have to take that with a grain of salt. And it'll be interesting to see how that
Hmm.
actually works compared to traditional search where it's keyword. So I think it's going to be tough, but we'll see.
Yeah, but they're going to have to. They're going to have to monetize at some point. They're losing billions so far, aren't they? In the race for the AI
Yeah.
wars.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was listening to the news this morning and, like, with the new NVIDIA, earnings that came out, but they're
Mm,
like, "Is this gonna stick? See." I'm like, "Oh,
yeah.
we'll see."
Yeah.
Well, that's the only thing I can say
Although,
about that.
yeah. Okay, let's just briefly touch on SEO then for a minute. Traditional SEO, because the narrative sort of 12 months ago was very much SEO is dead. Like it was the end of the world. Nobody was going to be working in SEO. Just yesterday, the announcement that Adobe has just purchased SEMrush for X number of hundred millions or $1 billion or whatnot. So
Yeah, it was like
it seems like
1.6
an
billion,
interesting
something
move if the
right.
industry was, yeah. It seems like an interesting move if the industry was dead, which clearly it's not. So what are you seeing? You mentioned that brands are the ones that are doing well. Do you work with like smaller businesses that have seen like SEO success in recent months? And if so, what are they doing?
So most of my clients are moving more towards an AEO strategy instead of just like SEO. I do know SEO is still working though, and you have to have a strong SEO strategy to show up in like the Google AI overview. So I don't think that we can just yank that completely. I don't think we can. I think we still have to stick with that. SEO does still work. I'm not everybody proclaims it dead every 6 months. I wonder
Yeah.
if that
Yeah.
whole conversation was just because AI search was on the horizon and it's like, "Oh, well, what are we doing now?" Um,
Hmm.
and I don't know where that came from, but yeah, the ones that are
It
doing
just
it, like the smaller ones are still they're still seeing results that way too.
Okay. Okay, cool. So when it comes to an AI SEO strategy, then outside of content marketing, what else should we be looking at? We know that brands survive. Like, gone are the days where you could just build like a crappy affiliate site, rank, and make money. And inside of AI, outside of the sort of small tricks which seem to be working now, like injecting yourself into listicles seems to be working for now. But I think being a brand will be the answer moving forward. So what else goes into an AI SEO strategy outside of just the content?
So it kind of goes back to that be everywhere statement that we touched on at
Hmm.
the beginning. Um, I know that like ChatGPT, the AI engines, they pull information from blog posts, they pull it from YouTube, they pull it from podcasts, and a little bit of LinkedIn too. So like you have to be, as much as I hate to say this because it's like extra work, you do have to be everywhere that your audience
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
So those repurposing strategies are going to come in super, super handy. Like use AI to do it. If you do a webinar or whatever, pop it into ChatGPT, get the topics, and then span it out across all the channels. I am seeing that as super helpful because when you do that, it creates the AI models create something called like the card entity. I might have that terminology wrong, but it's like everything it knows about like Chris Pantelli. Like Chris Pantelli does this and he does this and he does this. I noticed that when it started picking up my podcast episodes really within the last month or so, because I'm all the time in there, like recommend a fractional content strategist, and I'm seeing if my name pops up. Once it started, like, picking up my podcast episodes where I have that very specific phrasing in each episode, it started building out my content entity or card entity a little bit more. And so, again, taking screenshots, putting it back into ChatGPT, and it's like, "Yes, this is everything we know about you at this point." So, the more channels that you're hitting, the more it sees you as an authority. So, we can't just do blog content
Mm.
anymore. It has to be ev
Yeah, I love that. That's really, really good. And for those listening, Cassie's just started a YouTube channel. So whether or not
Yeah.
that's because she's trying to be everywhere, who knows? Who knows?
A little
um,
bit, a little bit. I'm experimenting with how that works a little bit. So, because I know YouTube
yeah,
is showing up in some of those answer engines, and I'm curious to see how long it's gonna take before we start seeing my videos in these answers.
yeah. Do you see a reluctance from brands to do more than just content? Because I mean, that's easy, isn't it? They buy content, they hope that their fractional content strategist produces good content, it ranks, they make money. But when you start talking about having to put a name and a face to doing things like video and audio, like, do you see a reluctance, or do they understand the importance?
It's a little bit of both. I know
Mm,
internally over here at Scheme, we've had the debate of, well, we don't want to be influencers. And it's like, yeah, we don't
yeah.
have to be influencers, but we still have to be out there. And I'm working with another client who really just wanted to do a newsletter for their list. And I had to talk to him like, okay, newsletter is great, but like eventually you're going to need more people up to your newsletter. So you're still going to have to put that content out there. So somebody needs to be a face of your brand. Now we've got it set to where we've got writers, like in ghostwriting, but writers, eventually moving over to social media. Like you got to do the whole thing. Can't just be the one.
But like you said, the power of AI
Yeah.
and the beauty of repurposing. So how can one sort of formulate a time efficient strategy? Where would you begin? But it personally, what we do at Linkify, we love a podcast because you can just cut that up into shorts, which is great for short form video. There's so much you can do with it. Like you can extract the whole thing transcript wise. You can make LinkedIn posts. We love that. Is that a good place that you'd recommend to start?
Yeah, so I started doing that with my own podcast. Like after 12 episodes in, I'm like, why am I not purposing this? So I put it into ChatGPT. Like, here's the whole transcript. Give me 5 different titles or ideas for like blog content. And then I had to do a draft, and not posting the whole draft as is, like, that's terrible. But it just gave me more time to
Yeah.
go in and, like, actually put in my own content, add in those quotes from people. So that was super helpful. And when I did that, I think I started with my first 10 or 12 episodes, and it gave me like 6 months of content. And like it took 10 minutes to go in and do all of that.
hmm
So that was a lot.
hmm
That was better. Also with the LinkedIn, but doing the same thing. Um, did this with a client recently who they do webinars, like that's their thing. And so when I put all their webinars into ChatGPT, they had 16 of them. They want to do just like 2 blog posts a month. They're sitting on 3.5 years of content. So
Mm.
if you're
Yeah.
doing something like,
Yeah.
just repurpose the heck out of it.
Yeah. That's awesome. And yeah, webinars are great as well because they're often more you've taken more time and care and attention, so the actual like content inside of that is often really good anyway. I'll take like courses that we've done, if we've done like a PR course or how to pitch journalist course, like I'll have put or even a conference speech, let's say, and I can take like that massive presentation and put it into ChatGPT and just get so much stuff out of there where I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, that's good. It's like, yeah, I wrote that content, but I can put it into different formats that looks great. It's super useful, and I haven't had to do any additional work. That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, so I started doing that for the YouTube. Taking what I already have and just, like, breaking it down into, like, different scripts, and so I'll have ChatGPT just write my script for me. It's not, like, word for word, like, everybody knows ChatGPT is not the greatest, but if you take it and then make it your own, because it's still your own, like, when you feed it in there,
Mm.
it's been a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's been easier to do batch recording. Everything's done in, like, 20 minutes, and you have 5 videos.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And that's so true. Yeah, it's your own anyway. So this is how we'll sort of tell people to interact with it if they're going to engage the media, is like use like recorded dictation stuff that you've actually said and force ChatGPT to retain your original style and like linguistic nuance, because it is you, but it just saves a bunch of time and you can get so much out of what you've already done. You mentioned about the agentic flow inside of ChatGPT in order to search the Reddits. I really liked that. I actually haven't used Agent yet. Where can you explain, where is that? How can you
Yeah.
make that work?
Yeah, so if you have a chat up, there's a little plus button on the bottom. If you click it, it's got like deep research, upload a file or something, and then it says agent, and you just type your prompt in there. It takes the agent, like if I'm looking towards Reddit for specific questions from a community, it takes it a good 15-20 minutes. Like it's not an instant thing. So go have your coffee or whatever while it's running. But it saved me so much time. I have an awful habit of getting on Reddit looking for something, and then I'm down a rabbit hole that's not anywhere related to what I'm doing, and I've wasted an hour. So
Yeah.
if ChatGPT does it for me and just pulls out all the stuff and then links to those conversations, I am much more focused on getting stuff done.
I was going to say, can you validate it's not hallucinated, but it provides the sources as well to
Mhm.
what it's
Yeah.
found, so you can go and like spot check. Yeah.
Yeah. I always prompt it to like cite your sources on this, just so
hmm
it doesn't make it up. So if there's no clear link to it, I have to really check it to make sure it's actually correct information and just not something it made up. But if there's a link, I always go look at it. Hey, yeah, this is a real conversation. So yeah, definitely check
Okay.
ChatGPT. They like to lie a lot.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to have a play with Agent. I'm probably going to lose the rest of the afternoon, but that's fine. Um, okay. As we come to the end of this podcast, then, what do you think the future of search brand visibility? What do you think that looks like? Where do you think decision makers should be focusing their time and effort? Is content marketing dead? Is SEO dead? What's the future? Give me your
Yes.
juicy predictions.
Oh, SEO is not dead. Let me dust off my crystal ball here. I think within the next 6 months, I think AI search and like trying to scramble of how to actually appear in those search results is going to be a bigger topic than it is now. Like, I know you and I talked about this a couple weeks ago. And within the last week, I've seen so many more brands putting out how to do like AI SEO, however you want to call it. Like just recently, HubSpot just launched their own YouTube on AI strategy, like AI content strategy. It's a whole series that they're launching. Like I'm seeing the bigger brands like SEMrush and oh gosh, what's the other one I was just looking at? Anyway,
Ahrefs.
one of the other big, yes, they have some content on geo strategies. Now it's like really picking up. So if those players are like, hey, you have to pay attention to this, I really think everyone in marketing, content marketing, whatever, ought to pay attention to it too. Start learning it now, so then
Yeah,
6
I
months we're not
agree.
like, "Oh, no." Yeah.
Do you think, though, that there is an element of actually nobody has got a clue what is going on? It is changing so quickly, and it's not even really feasible to even really track this. Yeah, this is this can be sort of where we like wrap this discussion up. But this is my biggest issue at the moment: is there's no actual way to sort of realistically track AI visibility. You would have to like come up with all of the variations of everything that could be searched. You'd have to do those searches in different geolocations against different IP. There's so many things that you would have to do. So this data doesn't exist. So everything is a guess. All of these AI visibility tools, half of them are just vibe coded in basements by 14-year-olds. The other half have got enterprise investments, but they're essentially doing the same thing. So like, what are your views there?
Yeah, I'm not sure I have a good answer for that, because the way I've been tracking the way I've been doing is just like manual searches in ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gemini. And I've been taking screenshots of, okay, well, here I'm showing up here for this one, showing up here for this one. It takes so much time. It takes so much time. And I'm really terrible about screenshots just cluttering up something and then I delete it. But as far as like how to track that, I don't know. I don't know because everyone has a different, like everyone's style of questioning is different. So I don't know if there's a good way, and I don't know if there will be a good way, I'm sure. I do know that AirOps just got like a $40 billion investment this week.
Yeah, I
Um,
just saw
and
that.
they're
Yeah.
supposed to be, yeah. So evidently somebody thinks there's a good way to do it. I just don't know that we're there yet.
I'm still interested to see. I mean, Ahrefs obviously has like vast amounts of data and is sort of giving you these like ChatGPT visibility scores inside of the Ahrefs platform, but even that is like it's not really reliable. It's not in the same way that Google search data is reliable. So it will be interesting maybe if we have this conversation again in 6 months or 12 months to see where we're at with that, because people,
Yeah.
although actually one thing I'll leave you with, this one interesting thing that was said that was discussed at the conference I was at was this is so new, and the C-suite decision makers, they need to be telling their shareholders and the people that make the decisions that, look, we know about AI search, we've invested in improving it, and they're not even expecting like reports, like, and you can't really produce proper data driven reports.
Not,
So this is a
not
time
right
just to
now.
like make bank. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's what I've been saying. It's the whole reason why I started the Found an AI podcast because it's so new. Nobody knows what we're doing. And so the whole idea was just to learn together to see what's working and just do those little experiments. But yeah, I don't know how we're gonna prove that it's working other than just those manual searches right now. I don't know.
Yeah. I suppose for now, all we can do is Google Analytics, filter out that traffic that's coming from the AI sources. And if that's going up, then that's going up. I suppose one other final thing would be, I think an increase in branded search is probably an indication that you're being surfaced more inside of the AI models. That seems to be a sort of a classic use case. Like you'll do your discovery and research on inside the AI models, and then you'll sort of go and do a branded search in Google to find the website and make sure you're
Yeah.
clicking on the right place. Okay, Cassie, you've
Yeah.
just released your podcast. It's not your podcast. You've just released your YouTube. You also have a podcast. Will you please tell everyone where they can go and find you if they want to spend more time with you and learn about all things AI and content marketing?
Yeah, so you can find the Found an AI podcast anywhere you get your podcasts. So, Buzzsprout, just giving the link to that, but it's on Apple, Spotify, anywhere. And just started the YouTube, so it's under Cassie Clark Marketing over there. We're not in sync yet. We're working on it. I just started it 2 days ago.
Yeah, very new. LinkedIn website.
Mhm. Yeah, you can find me at CassieClarkMarketing.com or over at LinkedIn and just Cassie Wilson-Clark.
Awesome. Cassie, thank you so much for being such an amazing guest, and hopefully we'll get to speak soon as well.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it.
Thank you.